One and done shadows are some of my absolute favorite types of shadows. I do have a whole video on one and done shades that are like single pots of eyeshadows. Today, we are taking a look at some of my most used eyeshadows in my palettes, and they are one and done. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. If you guys are new here, my name is Staci. I feature unfiltered makeup opinions. I have honest reviews. I have OG old school YouTube tutorials. I also have the unfiltered series. Go check that out after this video. And I hope you guys consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell, and liking this video. So today we are talking about single shadows that are one and done in some of my most loved eyeshadow palettes in my collection. Now, this video was inspired by Samantha March, who actually featured this on her channel, and I wanted to pull out some of my eyeshadow palettes and talk about some of the best one and done shades from some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. So let's get started with this video.
So we have a stack of eyeshadow palettes, and we're going to be talking about my favorite like one and done shadows out of these eyeshadow palettes. So these are ones that I just like swipe on my eye and go about my day. And I do have a stack, as you can see, of eyeshadow palettes, and I wanted to show you my favorite ones out of all of these eyeshadow palettes. I dig into them frequently just for a one and done look. So I can't wait to show you guys my favorite one and done shades out of all of these eyeshadow palettes. Starting with the Natasha Denona Mini Starlit palette. This one was a release, I believe, back in 2023. And as you can see, there's like huge divots in this shade right here called Galaxia. This is my favorite shade out of the entire palette. It is like a shimmery, wet looking shade. She actually introduced her wet looking formula in this eyeshadow palette before she released the I Need a Nude. This one just has a pink base, and it's supposed to shift to almost like a blue, and it's super sparkly, super sparkly. I absolutely love this shade. I love just placing this all over the lid because it almost has like a rose gold quality to it as well. And it's such a beautiful shade. I have this indie brand. It is the Desert Monsoon from What's Up Beauty. I have a couple of shades that are like absolute favorites. As you can see, this shade right here called Desert Rose has a huge like divot in it. I use this one so much. The other one that I really like to use is Humidity. So I will swatch this one for you. It is, again, like a rose gold shade, but it actually has a little shift to a yellow in it. I'm actually a huge fan of like rose gold shades. This one's almost like a duochrome. It shifts, and it's also very light on the eyes, and it has like a purple, almost like yellow as well undertone to it, and it's just a beautiful shade. Like, I can't get enough of this shade at all. I love to just swipe this on my eyes, maybe sometimes throw like Joshua Tree in the crease or Dust Storm. But overall, this is just one of my favorite shades in this palette. The other one would have to be Humidity, which is also a pink shade, and this is almost like a rose gold shade. It has a little bit of a purple undertone, and it's a little bit more of a topper than anything. It's like super sparkly, super pretty, and I love these two shades. I'm just like a fan of like rose gold shades in general, but these two are like my favorite out of this palette. Next, from What's Up Beauty, I have the Geodes palette. Oh gosh, like this one, I have such an obsession with. This is one of my favorite palettes in general because it has so many different colors in it. And it's also a little bit more cool tone leaning with a pop of yellow. But my favorite shade would have to be Agate and Crystal. These are two of my favorite shades. As you can see, it has a lot of use in it. It has like a little divot. Agate is a duochrome sparkly shade, and it almost shifts to like an orange, a pink orange. And it's very metallic when you put it on the eyes, and it almost has this like creamy feel to it as well. It is so stunning on the eyes because it has that orangey shift to it as well. And then we also have Crystal. And this one is my other shade in this palette that I can't live without. It's like a purple iridescent with a little bit of a green as well. And it is so sparkly and iridescent on the eyes. Like, just put this all over the lid and you are good to go. Like, look how gorgeous and sparkly and reflective those two shades are. What's Up Beauty has like just one of the amazing formulas. But I'll throw like Rock in the crease or Rhodonite in the crease, and then I will put one of these shades on, and they are just so gorgeous. It's such a beautiful holiday palette as well because it's so sparkly and shiny, and it's so easy to get looks with this eyeshadow palette. Next, I have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. I love this palette. This is my favorite Natasha Denona palette out of all the Natasha Denona palettes. I have one shade in here that is my absolute favorite. It is called Muse, and this one is just a very sparkly, almost wet effect looking shadow. And it is kind of like a gold, but almost like rose gold as well. Super, super shiny, super, super sparkly. Like, it has that wet effect, but it's not super transparent. And it's actually pretty opaque on the skin. And it looks really nice when you just put like mesh all over the lid, or you just put fair all over the lid, and then you put this on top and you just dust it, and it just like highlights it, makes it look so beautiful. This is literally my absolute favorite go-to shade in the I Need a Nude palette. Oh, it's so pretty. Here we have the ColourPop That's Taupe palette. This is just a 9-pan eyeshadow palette. I believe it's a $14 eyeshadow palette, but my favorite shade would definitely have to be this one here, which is called Slated. This is actually the Super Shock formula, and this just reminds me of that wet effect. It has almost like silver reflex in it, and I am a cool tone, so when it goes on my eye, it does have that cool tone to it, so it looks really good with my skin tone. But look at that wet effect that it has, that Super Shock wet effect. It's such a beautiful shadow. I can't get enough of this one. I absolutely love it, and it is just so gorgeous on the eyes. Usually I'll just put like a neutral shade in the crease and then put this all over the lid, and it's just like sparkly metallic goodness, and it's so beautiful. We have a new release from Sigma Beauty. This is the Little Mermaid palette. So this was just released, but there is one shade in here that I'm absolutely in love with. And it is this shade right here called Seagull. This is like honestly, it is like a super sparkly, it has a white base, but if you just pop this over like a dark shadow or even just all over the lid, it has these like green, metallic, and blue reflex in it. And it really just makes your eye like come to life, and it just brightens it, and it makes it look sparkly, it makes it look wet, and it's just absolutely stunning. We have Moira Cosmetics Time to Shine. This is another one of my favorite palettes because it's very inexpensive. I think it was like max like $15, maybe a little bit more. It is a neutral color story. It has some greens in here. It does have some golds in here. Honestly though, the one shade that I dip into the most is Spiced. And this is another one of those wet effect formulas. Look how much I have used this shade. This is my ultimate favorite shade in this eyeshadow palette. And it is so stunning, especially when you just put some mattes on, and the mattes are super blendable. And then you just throw this on the lid, and it is so pretty. This one actually has more of a gold undertone to it, but it is such a scattered effect when you put it on the eyes that it actually looks really, really pretty with my with my skin tone. It just looks absolutely stunning. But you see, it has that wet effect, sparkly shift to it that like the Natasha Denona one has, but this one's definitely a little bit more gold. But look how sparkly that is. Absolutely insane. It is so gorgeous. And last but not least, we have the Sea Witch palette. This is from Electrum Cosmetics, which is a very small indie-owned brand. They do their own multi-chromes and duochromes. She hand presses them, and I have a shade in here that is my absolute favorite. I've told the owner millions of times, like, I love the shade Hera. I don't know what it is about this shade. It is super buttery. It has like a gold to green to blue reflect, and you can literally put this over oh gosh, like look at that swatch. Look at that. Look how pigmented it is. And look how saturated it is on my finger. Like it's just so beautiful. It literally reminds me of like a Greek god because it has this like blue, green, gold shift in it. I've put this over neutral shades. I've put this over some deeper shades that are in this palette. And it is so stunning all over the lid. Like I can't get enough of this shade. And it pairs well with anything. Like you can put this over a dark shade, you can put this over a neutral shade, and it is just so stunning on the lid. The other shade that I tend to dip into a lot is also Siren, and this is a flakier multi-chrome shade. And it has like a purple to green shift in it. And this is my other one and done in this eyeshadow palette that is just absolutely gorgeous. You'll see it has more of that green undertone and it shifts to a purple. And when it's on the lid, it is just so absolutely stunning and metallic and pigmented and beautiful. A lot of these other shades are very like scattered, glittery. These two, they have that multi-chrome effect. They can give you that scattered look, but they're also super pigmented, super metallic, and oh my gosh, they're just so beautiful. Like look how gorgeous these two are. I really hope that the camera's picking up those duochrome, multi-chrome shifts because they're so stunning. So here are all my one and done shades that I tend to reach into a lot, and they're all from just different brands, some indie, some mainstream, and they are just absolutely stunning. So we have some toppers, we have some multi-chromes, duochromes in here, and some like really sparkly wet effect looking shades, but they are my favorites. They are so beautiful and they pair really nicely with just like a nice matte crease, or even just putting them all over the lid and not worrying about the crease. Just absolutely stunning shades, and they are my favorite one and dones from my eyeshadow palettes. Thank you guys so much for watching my favorite one and done shades out of these eyeshadow palettes. These are my favorites. If you guys haven't already, please consider subscribing before you go, hitting the like button, and leaving me a comment down below. What are some eyeshadow palettes with your favorite shades in them? Let's start a conversation in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see ya in my next one. Bye!